sir. Good to have you here. Welcome to Mesa Morning Live, and this guy's, you're very familiar with this character.
Very familiar. Even though the top 10 beer deal is a little tough act to follow.
Yeah. Well, yeah, but this is Sparky's domain right here, man. This is, and by the way, he was very gracious not to say it, but Neil, the guy that was just up here, went to that other school.
What school is that?
It's down. It's that trailer park with a mayor called Tucson. Oh, folks, come on, he's our guest. No, Neil went to U of A, but boy, we are so glad you're here. Not just talking about here, but we're glad you're in Tempe, Arizona.
Well, I'm blessed to be here. It's been a great 3 years, and it's a great time to be a Sun Devil. You know, all the things with a new stadium going in. Obviously, hiring a new basketball coach today. I'm pretty excited about Coach Hurley, and remember watching him compete for national championships, and just the leadership that we have with Dr. Crow and Ray Anderson, and what we're doing in athletics is just exciting and around the university.
That's awesome. Let's catch everybody up to speed a little bit about you. I know you grew up in Mesquite, Texas. Is that correct?
Sure did. Sure did. Grew up in Mesquite, Texas. A proud Texan, but a converted Arizonan.
Well, good. And I know your background. You went from you graduated college in Oklahoma. Is that correct?
Mm-hmm. Yes, sure did.
And then you started coaching, I think, high school. And then tell us a little bit about how you got from Oklahoma to Tempe, Arizona.
Well, you know, one of the reason why I'm a coach and was, you know, I grew up, my mom raised 5 kids by herself, and I'm the only person in my family to ever go to college, and coaches made the difference in my life. And obviously, you know, football and athletics was the vehicle, but it was the coaches that really inspired me, along with my mom. And so, you know, I played football as long as I could, played a little pro football, and then they cut me, but I knew what I wanted to do, and that's to teach young people and make a difference in young people's lives, because obviously that had been demonstrated so well to me. So how I wound up getting into coaching was that way. Started off being a teacher. Started off as a 7th grade football coach, I think 29 years ago, and just had a passion, for teaching, and good Lord's blessed me. And you know, how I ended up here, you know, I'd like to say it was all in my plan, but I think you know, it's been an adventure, and it's been something that I've been very, very lucky and very blessed to get to do. And so I just love teaching and coaching, and probably the best thing that ever happened to me and my family was get an opportunity to come here, and we just love it here. It's been a great fit for us, and to get to work at a university that really is not interested in how everybody else is doing things, but really interested in making a difference in young people's lives, and all people, and all inclusive. I love the philosophy that Dr. Crow has of the New American University, and it's been amazing to be a part of this. It's very few times in your life you get to be a part of a transformational time, and that's something that is exciting for me. And I just approach it, whether I was coaching 7th grade or coaching at this level, you know, I'm just a teacher, and I'm blessed to do it.
That's great. I know you like to travel too, and sometimes in your travels you bring back artifacts or things to help with the teaching of the young guys. So tell us a little bit about that.
Yeah, well, we went, you know, my heritage is from Scotland, and we, both my wife and I are former, you know, history teachers, so we like to travel all over. Been to Jerusalem and to, you know, all over Europe and different places, but we went to Scotland, and so I brought back an actual, from the William Wallace days, basically a helmet, you know, and so our players, we like to reward them for courage and for accomplishment and being a dominator. So when they get to, you know, wear that helmet, and that's something we're going to introduce this next year, and we might even wear it out of the tunnel, you know, and stuff like that. So we just have a lot of fun with that. You know, our guys, I tell you, that's one of the things that's exciting, is to be a part of. This is going to be the best football team we've ever had, and I know we're going to win, because we're winning every day, and just the hearts of the young people that I work with, and we've laid a great foundation, and the difference that they're making, and you know, just you know, not just winning on the field, but you know, 70 of our 110 football players are 3.0 or higher students. They're very, very involved in the community. We had the Scholar Athlete of the Year in the Pac-12, Taylor Kelly last year. That's the first time that that's ever happened. We finished second, though, to Stanford. We only had 12 academic all-conference players. They had 13, so we're looking to get them next year on that. But I'm just really proud of our players, and I hope that our community, that's what I love about coming to Mesa, is that every time I speak here and I come out in the community, it's a family atmosphere, and that's what we're building at ASU, and I hope that we make our fans proud of not only winning games, but how we go about winning those games. That's something I'm really proud of.
Oh, that's awesome. And I know, by the way, I could detect a little Scottish accent.
Could you?
Yeah. The Scottish part of mesquite.
Most people think it's a New Jersey accent that I have.
Well, talking about being a great fit here in the Valley, I know you live up in D.C. Ranch, and the home you live in is kind of cool. You've got a little history there. That Bret Michaels' former home.
Well, I think it was like his third or fourth home. I couldn't afford probably his first home, but no, that's an interesting deal. It's, I guess, got an opportunity to really have a dream home for my family, and so that's an interesting deal. When I went and looked at the house, they were actually playing Bret Michaels music, so it was kind of interesting. But I would say the atmosphere's changed a little bit since we moved in.
Oh, if those walls could talk. Well, speaking of, you were talking about your dream home, and I know you and your wife did something that's kind of incredible, and I hope I don't embarrass you by bringing it up, but you made a very healthy donation, $500,000 to was it the stadium fund at ASU?
Yeah, exactly. We, one of the things that we thought was important, a lot of people think that I did that to convince people that I want to stay here. I can tell you I would not have done that to convince anybody that I was going to stay here. We did it because we believe in what's going on, and we've had such tremendous support, unprecedented support around our program, and people that have given big time to our program, and really not just because we win a few games, but because they believe in the mission, in what we're accomplishing with our players, and teaching them the values of character, smart, discipline, produces toughness, and educating our players. And so it was something that we felt like that it was important to us, and it was something that we did because we believe in the mission, we believe in what's going on, and we wanted to make a contribution and step up along with. When you're asking other people to step up, I think it's it's always better to lead by example.
I've always wondered when you, it has to be a weird process to interview for a job. Do you remember back a few years ago when you came to Tempe, or maybe they came to you to interview for this job? What's that like?
Well, it's really nice of you to bring that up, because that's one of the worst experiences that I've ever had.
Well, obviously it worked very well.
If people remember back, that was quite an interesting search process, and there wasn't, most people, it's kind of interesting at this level. There's not as much of you don't really apply for jobs and interview for them. They recruit you, and I think, Dr. Crow wanted a teacher, and he had written down the things that he was looking for in a person, and they really came and recruited me. And how I ended up, I had no intention of really looking or being involved. The guy that actually ran the search for Arizona State, I actually used to sit by him in church when I was a high school football coach. So, I think fate has a lot to do with that. And but mostly it's I think they do their research and they're looking for a certain fit. And I was very, very blessed, because this has been the best fit for me and my family. And obviously it's been a great 3 years for us, and we're just getting started.
Well, I know that one of the challenges about coaching at ASU is this is a big city, and you're up against all the professional teams, and so there's always talk. The sports page is, how do you get on above the fold of the sports page?
Yeah, I really don't think that we compete with the professional teams. Collegiate sports is very different. It's obviously, I think, you look at the support is all about activating people and representing them the way they want to be represented. So when I came here, I got out in the community and met people and continued to do that. And they were loud and clear that they wanted us to represent them with class and character. They wanted a team that they could cheer for, and so I don't think that we compete with the Cardinals or with the Diamondbacks. I really don't. I think that people will support collegiate athletics. It's a part of the American culture, college football, and those things. So really, a lot of people, I think, when I came here, they said, well, God, it's so hard because it's a professional town. I think that's just an excuse. And I think one of the things as I walked in today, you see a lot more Sun Devil shirts and Sun Devil logos. And, it's something that I'm really proud of, because I think that this process has been a part of bringing our community together. And people will support a worthy cause. And it's not just about winning. It's winning the right way and representing them how they want to be represented.
That's great. Well, I can't help but notice your wristband there. Talk about Sun Devil history and lore, the Pat Tillman number. I know that means a lot to you.
Yeah, one of the things that is interesting, and it's not just that, when I came in, we researched the history. One of the things about a company, if you run a company or you buy a company, you want to know and research and know, what you're dealing with. And so I researched the history all the way back to 1897. We actually wrote it into the walls. And as I was writing, and we were putting up our kind of a museum along the hallways of our football complex, there was one person that was on every wall. And that was interesting to me. He was all conference, he was all American, he was academic all American, community service, unprecedented in how he was such a tremendous giver in every way. And so, and then how he played the game with a tremendous passion. Was something that, he's the only person that's on the wall in my office. The only other thing that's on my wall are those 70 scholar ballers, those 3.0 players. And that's how you get on my wall, is accomplishing that in the classroom. And then Pat, Pat was, to me, epitomized. He was an incredible, got to know his brother and his mom, and really spent some time really trying to, to really know who he was, because he was such a unique individual. And really, he was a guy that was so dynamic as an individual, but that individuality never came in front of his love for his family, his love for his team, and ultimately gave his life and his love for his country. So we put that PT 42 on there, and we have even a jersey in practice. Sometimes our players get to earn, and I think we've had 6 players in 3 years for I think 10 days get to wear that jersey. It's hard to keep that jersey because of what the standard that he set, 3.84 academically, a degree in finance, graduated summa cum laude, Pac-10 Defensive Player of the Year, All-American, All-Pro, obviously all the Hall of Fames, but he epitomized what it is to give everything you've got and to pour your heart into something. So to me, that is the benchmark for what we're trying to do as Sun Devils.
Well, if you could recruit a class full of Pat Tillmans, you'd be ahead of the game, wouldn't you?
An interesting deal. When we come down the Tillman Tunnel before the game, so I said, man, it'd be great to show Pat's highlights, to really get our guys motivated. Well, in the last few years, they've developed some rules that are a little different than when Pat played. And it's called targeting. You can't launch at someone. You can't try to tear their head off and stuff like that. And so we had this video, and so our first game here, we were playing that video, and I was going, no, you can't do that. You can't don't do that. Play with that passion, but don't do that. So you got to be careful sometimes. You don't. But he was something that was really special. His passion. That's what we talk to our players about. Is being passionate about what you do is different than what your purpose is. Your purpose is something that never ends. And as a program, we want to be a program that makes a difference and makes a difference in people's lives. But we also want to be passionate. I was a passionate player, and it came to an end. But it's not why I'm put on this earth. I'm put on this earth to make a difference in people's lives. And so that's what we're teaching our guys every day. And I'm very visual. And so we put that on our wrist, and it reminds me that the standards are for me as well as them. And we have a couple of little sayings that we have. Has our goals: national champions, 16, the Pac-12 champions, 15. And obviously we want to, when we talk about that, people think I'm just talking about football. We want it, on the field, off the field, in the classroom, in the community. And I think our players and our fans deserve that standard. And it's great to go to work every day and to work in the culture that I work in. So proud of our players and where we're at. And we got the spring game tonight, and I think the festivities start at 6:30. Hope everybody will come out, and we're gonna have some fans come down. You know, the fans are always hollering at me over the deal. You know, I won't tell you exactly what they say, but they like to call the plays. So come on out. We'll let you call some plays, see how good you are.
That's awesome. Well, you know what? You were talking about, we mentioned recruiting. These folks in the audience here are business owners. They're recruiting talent. I'm sure there's a carryover. What do you see in a young man that makes you say, that's the kind of person I want in my program? What should these folks be looking for?
You know, one of the things that I do, I really believe I'm kind of an old-fashioned person, and the only thing I really micromanage, which is not the only thing, but the number one thing that I micromanage is personnel. And, you know, I think that, you know, when you're talking about character, like if someone said, tell me about Coach Graham's character, it's a daily evaluation. And so the ultimate key is in evaluation and recruitment is there's great power in our words. You know, we had a speaker come the other night that was just tremendous, a leader that talked about, you know, our words, you know, our behaviors and our actions. And so when I sit down with people, I still, you know, I'm a look you in the eye person. You're bright-eyed or you're dull-eyed. You're a victor or victim. You're a giver or you're a taker. And so that's what I'm looking for when I go out and recruit. I actually like to recruit. You can tell I like to talk. I like to visit. I mean, I hear coach and a lot of people in our industry, you know, I think everybody's trying to be like everybody else. You know, I think sometimes, you know, this is a business what I'm in. You know, we're a multi-million-dollar business that I run at ASU. And, you know, we're not trying to be like everybody else. We're not really interested in just competing. We're interested in monopolizing the market on how we go about doing things in our niche. And so the key to that is people. The foundation of running any successful organization is relationship. And the key is finding people that have heart. And I think there's good and bad in all of us. It's what we choose to bring out of each other. So that's why you need leaders, you need leadership, and you need that culture. But in recruiting, to me, that's what I look for. You know, there's so many kids. I love walking in their living rooms, and we have them from rural areas, from urban areas, from all over the country to right here in this valley. And man, I'm just looking for those young people that want to make a difference and have a passion. And I think that that's something that I trust my instinct and when I'm looking them in the eye. And then, you know, we're just not trying to compete. We're not. I think 90% of the people in business or whether in football are all doing the same thing. We're trying to set ourselves apart by being one of a kind. And if you want to make a lot of money, I know a lot of our boosters and stuff I get a chance to talk to. They say, Coach, you want to make a lot of money. You don't want to be competing in the market. You want to monopolize the market. And so we try to do that with you know, the values from which we live by each day. And you know, I find that you know, if you'll win every day and you'll really know who you are and be genuinely who you are and have that as your goal and your purpose and motivate and inspire. You know, that's one of the things we talk about as a leader that, you know, 15-20% of what comes out of my mouth can be straining and training, and the other 80-85% needs to be inspiring. And so it matters that you lead from the heart. And a lot of people think that I always tell people when I talk about our philosophy, I actually believe this stuff. And so that's something as a leader I would, if you ask me what would be a word I would give someone today is don't do what everybody else is doing. You know, I love the fact that we're a small, close family as teachers and coaches, and we are really trying to find our niche. And that we want players that graduate from our place to be one of a kind, and to people to look at and say, man, those guys are special. And so that's what we're trying to do, and we want to make a difference. And, you know, I think that's the key, is setting yourself apart.
It's got to be tough to watch these guys come in as bright-eyed 18-year-olds, and they're almost like your sons. And then when it's time for them to, you know, they have no more eligibility left, they graduate and they go off. That's going to be kind of a tough thing for you. You know,
coaches had such a profound effect in my life, and not just coach, because to me, coaching and teaching is the same thing. I consider myself a teacher, and so I love going. I go to every home of every player that we sign, And I like to meet Uncle Bill and Aunt Sally, and I like to look at whoever the person is that put this young person in this position, because they're obviously very, very blessed to get an opportunity to come and get a free education, especially at a place and a level like this. But I always sit there and I look at that mom or the granddad in the eye that's made a difference in their lives, and you know, I always tell them, I say, you know, their dreams are my dreams now. And that's something that, man, you can make a lot of money and you can win a lot of championships and win a lot of rings, but man, being a teacher and watching young men grow and to watch our players, you know, every day I go to work now, and man, it's just, it's awesome to be around the environment that we have in that locker room. I always tell people the locker room's the best thing about it, and getting to teach these guys. But you know, that's the thing that I try to keep my mind on every day, is that this is someone's son. And their hopes and dreams are in my hands, and I need to give them everything I got every day. So I love being a teacher. It's the greatest profession on earth.
Oh, that's great. What advice would you give, since you brought him up, Coach Hurley? You've been here 3 years now. You kind of get to know your lay of the land. What would you tell him to do to kind of help him out, get a head start?
Well, he doesn't need my advice, but
That's a pretty good program.
He's a winner and a competitor. That's the thing that I'm excited about. Is you know, I'm a little competitive, so I enjoy.
I picked up on that.
I enjoy being around. Got a little bit of passion, but you know, it's very simple. When I first meet him, I'll tell you, when I first went out in the community, you know, simply win. And people think when they walk in our building, there's a sign that says "One goal, national champions," and people think I'm talking about a game. I'm talking about every day, every rep, every relationship, every academic meeting, everything that you do, just win. And you know, people will get behind and support a winner.
That's great. Well, this is kind of a goofy question, but it's coming from me, so it won't surprise you. I think you're 50, and by the way, you look like you could go out and play.
I'm glad my wife's not here, because my wife and I are both the same age, and everybody thinks she's 10 years younger than me.
Well, I've got that same.
And my mother actually will watch me on TV, and she'll call and say, "What are those people doing to you?"
You look great, man. You look like you'd suit up and play. But what would the 50-year-old Todd Graham tell the 12-year-old Todd Graham if you had that opportunity? What would you?
Oh, wow. I think what I would say is, you know, spend less time on trying to win games, and really just and never pass up the opportunity to make a difference in people's lives. I think so many times in my life, the only things that I've really failed at the end of your life, what's going to be important, you know, and I've kind of, you know, in the back, I guess the last third of my life, you know, what's important to me is my faith and my family. And so if I could talk to the 12-year-old, I'd say, don't waste your time on things that don't matter.
Boy, that's good advice for all of us. So tell us about this upcoming season. I know the spring game's tonight, and do you have a good, I don't know a lot about your recruiting class.
We had the best recruiting class since, I guess it's being, you know, they started recruiting classes, whatever that means. To me, it's all about, you know, our plan to be successful is very unique to Arizona State University and what our values are as a program. And I can tell you that it's the best recruiting class that we've had since I've been here. This will be the best football team that we've had, because not necessarily is that about because we have this talented guy or that talented guy, but collectively as a group, we truly have a brotherhood. This team is extremely close, very family-oriented. And basically, the character of this team, I've never been around a group of guys that are more service-oriented and are so willing to sacrifice and to be different. Smart, believe it or not, smart is a talent, and this is the smartest football team that I'm going to have. If you have those two things, character and smarts, then you can develop discipline. This will be the most disciplined team we've had. If you don't have any discipline, you'll never be tough. And this will be the toughest team I've had, and the toughest team wins in this sport. And so, you know, I feel really good about where we're at. Our goal is obviously to win every game. Our program is about winning championships. I'm as proud of what we do in the classroom and off the field as what we do on the field. And people always say, "Well, it's really nice of you, Coach, to really want those kids to excel academically." Well, let me tell you why I do that. I've researched it. And as our GPA rises, so does our wins on the field. And so, and that's obviously, I'm paid to come here and win championships. And so it's an exciting time, and this is going to be the best football team we've put on the field, and I've got a lot of confidence in them, the leadership, and obviously they're pretty talented too. And I excel at coaching really talented people, so feel really good about it. Feel really good about it.
How many of your former players are going to, well, Jalen Strong they're talking about him going early,
We'll
right?
have at least 4 players drafted, we'll probably have 4 players drafted in the top 4 rounds. Jalen's projected as a first rounder, Damaris Randall's projected as a second rounder, Marcus Hardison will be a second or third rounder, and Jamil Douglas will probably be around a third or fourth rounder. Taylor Kelly could be a late round pick. So really proud of those young men and really excited about their opportunity. And one of the things I'm excited about is, kind of I think the telling factor, whether you're doing your job and do it as a teacher, is what are these kids doing, 4 years from now, 10 years from now, and 20 years from now. And I'm really proud of the young men that have graduated in the last 3 years, that we're graduating our players, and they're going on, and the guys that are going to the NFL are making teams, making rosters, and are being successful. And so it's an exciting time, and Jalen's going to be in Chicago, I think, for the draft, and he texted me the other day and wants me to go with him, and just an exciting time to see it's just a life-changing experience. And I can remember visiting with Jalen's granddad and his mom in Philadelphia, and talking about this very thing, and talking about what their aspirations for. So he'll graduate, I believe, this summer, and then he'll be hopefully a first-round draft pick here in a few weeks.
Wow, that's exciting. I can't help but notice, and I don't know if you can see a screen, but we've got this
Oh, wow.
Coach Graham on a stick. What is that?
Well, one, it needs to be airbrushed. I mean, the fact that they had put that out with all those wrinkles and gray hair, I don't understand that.
I would like to have one of those, actually, because I drive by DC Ranch all the time, and they've got a photo radar camera out there.
I've experienced it.
The Pima and Hualapai.
When I first got hired here, I went by there several times and did not know that was there. And
See, if I had that, then you get the ticket.
Exactly.
That's fun.
That would be good.
By the way, had you ever been to Arizona prior to?
I had. When I was at the University of Tulsa, one of our top donors started bringing me out here. Lived at Desert Mountain about 12 years ago, and just absolutely loved it. And what was interesting about it, we were researching, looking at trying to buy a casita in Desert Mountain, and then got the call, would you be interested in coming here? And
yeah, I think
a blessing.
You did real well.
Did well.
Well, you know what? I think you could recruit anybody. I mean, a little while ago, I was listening to you talk, and I was thinking, I still got some eligibility. You're that good a recruiter. What would you? We're pretty gung ho about the Valley of the Sun. How would you recruit people from outside to turn them on to Arizona? What do you think the big selling features are for the Valley?
Well, obviously, I mean, when you're recruiting, to me, it's all about the individual that you're recruiting. And what we do, I don't think recruiting is a sales pitch. I think too many people are focused too much on sales than they are product and really who you are as a person. And I really don't try, I used to, when I was younger, I'd try to do all the handshakes and try to be cool and all that. And, I really do a lot better now recruiting, just being honest, being genuine. And, when you look and see what we have to offer a young person, and that's a championship life. And we describe that not only what they're going to do in the classroom, but what they're going to do, off the field, and how we're going to teach them and instruct them. And so really recruiting is diligence. It's finding the right people, and then also being able to really project and be genuinely who you are, and for them to be able to show them what you have to offer them. We have a tremendous situation here. It's just interesting. I tell you what's interesting about recruiting young people. I used to think it was all about the sales pitch and all about the presentation, and we'd try to do all this stuff with the office and how we did all this stuff, and in 2013, I won the Coach of the Year in the Pac-12, and there's a little trophy that comes along with it. And the kids come to my office and they'll say, "Hey, Coach, how you doing? Hey, can I take a picture of this?" You know, they're not really. They just want to put a picture on Twitter or Facebook, and they're really not interested in talking to a 50-year-old. But and the program sells itself. Actually, I can tell you that the best recruiters at our place are our players, and you reap what you sow. And so to me, if you'll really focus on that, I think too many people that are in the sales business are focused on trying to hire some slick salesman other than really, having a great product to offer someone.
That's great. You mentioned the stadium. Now, are they renovating or are they building a new stadium? What's going on there?
Well, we're in the phase. The south end zone will be done by this fall, and then we'll tear out the north end zone, and there'll be a phase over 2015, 16, and 17. They'll do the west and the north after that for the 2016 season, and then 2017. Before that season, we'll have a brand new stadium, which will be state of the art, will bring us up to date, obviously, in making the fan experience. Having a lot of air-conditioned areas and things like that. Obviously, the seating and how it's transformed. The game day atmosphere will be completely changed. Getting the students out of the upper deck down on the field is something I'm really excited about. The south end zone is going to provide that this year, which will make it one of the toughest places to play. We could have gotten it done probably faster, but I didn't want to move out of the stadium. And one of the reasons why I didn't want to move out of the stadium is because we're 12-1 there in the last 2 years. And we have 7 home games this year, so I was pretty excited about staying there. And also, too, I didn't want our students to have to be driving down the road and traveling somewhere else. And such a unique game day atmosphere at Arizona State. And again, it's a transformational time. We have a brand new, basically a brand new stadium going in. And which will be a completely different fan experience, as well as a new student-athlete center for our football team in the north end zone, which will be a state-of-the-art facility. One of the things we're big in is technology and how we integrate technology into teaching. So stadium will be high-tech. Our complex will be high-tech. There will be about a 50-yard jumbotron, one of the biggest jumbotrons biggest one we can put up down there on the north end zone. So it's going to completely transform the game day experience, as well as going to help out a little bit in recruiting.
That's awesome. And you know what? There's got to be a built-in home field advantage with the heat. I mean, when some of these teams come down from, Washington or something, and they step out on the field, you guys are training in it.
I think the number one factor, though, is the atmosphere. Yeah. I think it's I talk to our other coaches in the league. They do not like coming here to play. Our students are absolutely phenomenal, and that's one of the things that, I try to work really hard at going out and being accessible to them. And we've set 5 records, I think, last year for the most students to ever watch an Arizona State football game. People say, "Coach, how you do that?" I said, just went and asked them. It's not, people will support you. You have to go out and you actually have to compete for people's support. And so that's something that we've been able to do. But I think that the students, our band does such a tremendous job, but it's a tough place to play. I think that's number one. Obviously the heat's a factor. There's never been a Big Ten team come here at our stadium and win. Yeah, so but also it's we go up north and play when it's snowing is a little difficult too. But that's part of, I guess, being a championship. This is I think that we have, and especially as we improve our stadium and really increase the the ability to provide noise. And so to score on us now, you have to go through our student section because they're going to be on both ends. Okay, and so it's a really going to be I think it's a really difficult place to come and play, and I would like for it to be as difficult as possible.
I bet you would. Well, I'll tell you what, I was an Arizona State fan an hour ago, but I'm a bigger fan now, having had a chance to spend some time with you. We can't thank you enough. I know this is a busy day for you. You got the big game tonight, but thank you so much for stopping by. How about a big round of applause,
Thank you so
Mr.
much.
Todd Graham.
Thank you. Thank you so much.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you, sir. Thank you.